Well, I am a member of the SCBWI, which stands for the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. And it is a huge organization. I think there's like 50,000 members around the world. And we have regional chapters here in the United States. And I was very involved in, and still am, in our regional chapter. And I would, which met in Birmingham. It was actually Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Mississippi at that time. Now it's gotten a lot bigger, and so that's broken off. But at that time, it was the four, northern Florida, those 4 states. And so, but if you wanted to go to any of the conferences, you had to go, they were in Birmingham. And so what I would do was I would have what was called swap shops. Here, I usually had them in Marietta at the library, since I was organizing them. I thought, I'll keep it close to where I am. And so, and it was for people that necessarily can't get to the conference, but they want to share their work. They want to, like, I always wanted to know, why am I not getting published? What's wrong with my manuscript? And so, I get a pretty good group, about 20 people, and I would break it up to, because I don't write middle grade or young adult, I would ask another author who writes that if they would take care of the authors or the writers that came that wanted to see about their work getting published that were young adult or middle grade. And then I would usually take the picture book writers, which there were most of those. And so what we did was they would have to make about 10 copies of their manuscripts for, to pass out to everybody. And then we would, somebody else would read their work, and then we would critique it. And of course, 10 people, I mean, just because they're not published, they still have an opinion. And sometimes, it's a valuable opinion too. And so Jessica came to one of my swap shots, and she was very shy. And she was there's a lot of people, and I was like this too, that were, read mine first, and that was me. And she kind of just stayed in the background. And very shy, and she just never came forward. And, whenever I said, okay, who wants to go next, never came forward. And so she was the very last. And when I can't remember the story that she wrote, but I really liked it. And she wrote in rhyme, and her rhyme was very well done. I mean, the meter was, she had great meter, and her word choice was very good. In rhymes were very strong. And I had worked on, I'll show you this one. I'd gotten this one published. This is The Feast, and it was in a certain rhyme scheme. And they asked me if I had any more ideas for it. Well, at that time, I was also working on this one, and I also had 2 kids at home. And so I thought, gosh, I would love to do another This Is, because This Is the Feast, This Is the Game, This Is the Dream. And so I asked Jessica if she would want to work on, they'd asked me if I had another idea for one. I did have one. It was called This Is the March, about Martin Luther King, his March on Washington. And so I asked her if she wanted to work on that with me. And then actually, when we started, she said yes. And so after we started working on it, I thought, maybe we should broaden this to the whole civil rights movement, because the march was just too specific. And so we actually broadened it to the whole civil rights movement. This Is the Dream, which took a lot of research to do before we even started it. She's very good at organizing thoughts. She's just a great writer. And so I asked her if she would help me with it, and yes, she did. And then we did This Is the Game and This Is the Earth. And Look Both Ways is also one that we did together. So I really enjoy working with her. She's like I said, she's laid back, but now if she feels strongly about something, and she can argue her case, as far as, because sometimes we'd be at an impasse as far as which line we like better. And if she, she's very good at articulating, she's very articulate. And if she could, build her case for why she thought that line was better, we would use that line. So, and then and vice versa, if she felt like if my reason for the line being in, she's like, okay, I get that. So, and we just seemed to always, never had a problem.